Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is One Punch Man, Season 3, Part 1, Episode 31, Counter-Strike. The episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happened in the episode. So in this episode, it's essentially an entire episode of a battle, and that is we start the episode with the last couple minutes of the last episode replaying with the S-Class heroes and their support A-Class heroes arriving in City Z, or the ghost town, and suddenly realizing that there are monsters coming out of everywhere and that they have been ambushed. However, all of those monsters are weaker, and so this episode is essentially all of the heroes showing off their skills while facing that first wave of lesser monsters, the weaker monsters from the association, which have been sent to essentially gain data on their fighting styles. And then, of course, by the end of the episode, they've defeated that first wave, and the S-Class heroes begin their original plan, where they each take different entrances in order to head underground to face the Monster Association head on, while the A-Class heroes stay above ground to catch any monsters trying to escape. And that's what happened in this episode. So now that we know what happened, it's now time to rank the episode. As always, we'll be ranking on our mostly objective ranking list, followed by the personal ranking list after. So our mostly objective rank values, we had multi-episode supporting character growth, and that was basically all of the new heroes in the A-Class that we've been introduced to in the previous episodes got to show off their fighting styles and their powers. Some had named attacks like Deathloop, Crescent Moon, Concessive Cuts, Soft Touch Execution, Featherweight Midair Murder Method, and Violence Star. Others just used their fists, like Captain Mizuki uses her fists. We had a ninja who was using obviously ninja weapons, but didn't name any of the attacks. And I believe, and then Narcissist Stoic also used his fist. So not every hero got named attacks, but we did get to see basically all of the A-Class heroes and their fighting styles, which is worth 2 points. Then we have a resolved battle worth another 2 points, which is defeating that first wave of monsters. This again is like a bulk defeating of all of the monsters. Multiple battles happened, multiple battles were resolved, but ultimately I'm lumping them into plus 2 points, and that's just going to be for that whole first wave. And then lastly, we have our multi-season supporting character growth, which was Puri Puri Prisoner, who used an attack called Angel Flip Flap, which I thought was hilariously named, but honestly, that was 3 points. And we also saw some of the fighting styles of like Flashy Flash and a My Mask, though a My Mask isn't an S-Class, but he's also a multi-season supporting character. We also got to see Atomic Samurai alongside his disciples fighting. So we did see also multiple fighting styles from the S-Classes as well. Child Emperor, Tatsumaki, all of them had a bit of a cameo of fighting as well. Again, we're 3 points, which brings us up to 7 points total out of 10 for this episode. And that brings the mostly objective ranking so far to the strategy meeting, organism limits, monster king, monster traits. This episode, Counter-Strike, is in 5th place, followed by Counterattack Signal and Motley Heroes in the last place. So my personal ranking for this episode is that I really enjoyed the episode. It was engaging, kept attention. We got to see a bunch of different fight styles with the heroes, and it was one big battle, which is always exciting. and fun to watch. All of the different effects, the costumes, the way the attacks are kind of tailored to whatever theme the hero has. All of these things are really good things. We got a refresher on the S-Class heroes' fighting styles. So all of that was great. But as has been my gripe from like season 2 onwards, basically, is we didn't get a lot of any of our well-known characters that we may have grown attached to in season 1. Like, we obviously haven't seen Silverfang, we haven't seen um, Genos, we haven't seen Saitama at all in this episode, but that's also understandable because obviously this is to showcase the official Hero Association team coming in, and the others are basically rogue. Saitama's going to stumble upon it probably by accident because he's just doing a patrol. Meanwhile, Genos, Silverfang's brother, Bomb, Fubuki, King, all of them are kind of on purpose going in to fight the Monster Association without the Hero Association say so. So I understand why they weren't in this episode, but even like a small cameo, like a cutscene at the end. There was a cutscene at the end of this episode, but it was basically the A-class heroes talking about, the fight that they just had, and then Gyoro Gyoro being underground saying the true fight begins now. Woo. But like, it would have been nice to have like just a small cameo of where they are, just because they're the ones I really care about and want to see. More so Saitama, but I feel like Saitama, that he's just going to stumble on it at the end and do his one punch, and then King will get the recognition for it because that just seems to be what they've set up for Saitama's character. Either way, like I said, it was a good episode, entirely a battle episode, so there's not much to say beyond that. And I decided to give it a 7 out of 10, just because, again, I was missing the characters that I care about. And also, I don't see why they couldn't have had at least a cameo in a cutscene rather than, the cutscene basically just being the A-class heroes being like, wow, those S-classes, so great. And Gyoro going being real battle now. They could have done that before the cutscene and then had a cutscene, like before the credits, and then had the cutscene be the characters I personally want to see. So 7 out of 10. I agreed with the objective in this case. And that brings the personal ranking to, in first place, Monster Traits. This one I did actually put second, Counter-Strike, followed by Monster King, Organism Limits, The Strategy Meeting, Counterattack Signal, and then Motley Heroes. Bringing us now to the series ranking so far. Mostly objective side, we have Season 1 in first with 88.33%, Season 2 74.17%, the OVAs for season 1 and 2, 33.8%, 0.08%, sorry. And then season 3, part 1 currently has a score of 50 out of a possible 120. On our personal ranking side, season 1 was in first place as well, 76.67. Season 2, 65.83. And then the OVAs for season 1 and 2 currently have a score of 40.77%. Followed by season 3, part 1, which so far has a score of 40 out of a possible 120. But with that, we have now rewatched and ranked One Punch Man season 3, part 1, episode 31, Counter-Strike. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.